Hey everyone, Once Bitten here at the Battle Report. So this is the Kingdom of Equitaine versus Sylvan Elves, obviously a Ninth Age game. This is my first game using the Kingdom of Equitaine rules. I'm really excited. I'm a long-time Bretonnia player from back in Warhammer Fantasy, and I said I want to try out the new book. I think the new book that was created is going to have some changes to it, and I'm going to be kind of a fourth member of the Army Book Committee, meaning there's three main members, and I'll be kind of a member slash advisor to it. So I need to play it a few times. I can't say that this is a real super serious game between me and my opponent. We're both trying hard, having fun, but at the same time, we're both just kind of practicing out these armies. This is my opponent's first game with Ninth Age. He's a very, very good and experienced 8th edition player, and like I said, it's my first game with Kingdom of Equitaine. So overall, the board looks like that. Starting right to left, he's got a unit of Sylvan archers. Now these guys all have the black arrows, which means that at short range they're strength 4, and at long range they're still armor piercing 1 at least. I think that's kind of cool. He's got I thought this is a real interesting build he has. So he has a Lord level character, a Forest Prince, on foot, and he has this shapeshifter ability or whatever it is, but basically kind of it makes him super fast, increases his stats, but he can't join a unit. So he gives him a 4 up board, I think a 3 up armor, ogre sword, I think that's +2 +3 strength. So it's kind of this little guy walking around, but he's kind of a badass. Behind him, being proxied with Pegasus Knights or 3 Kestrel Knights, is what used to be called Warhawk Riders. Another unit of archers. And then he's got his battle standard bearer, and you really can't see it. It's kind of just to the top left of this picture, but it's not in the next picture either. But he is just like the Forest Prince, except he's a battle standard bearer, but he's still a shapeshifter. Good stats, can't join a unit, and he's just kind of out there on his own. So another unit of archers, another unit of dryads. Then he's got a level 4 Lore of Wilderness, and this guy has a thing where he can jump around between, he and his unit can bounce around between woods on the table, which can be a real frustrating thing to play against. Behind it, he has a Tree Father, and then there's a unit of Pathfinders that the High Druid is with. Pathfinders are, I believe, a rare unit, but these guys have like super good ballistic skill, and they have their choice of 4 arrows to choose from. So in this game, of course, he's going to be choosing the -3 to your armor save arrows. There's not many of them, but they're super, super accurate, and they pretty much ignore armor. Got some Wild Huntsmen. Another unit of Pathfinders. Now he has a level 1 Lore of Wilderness, and then another unit of Wild Huntsmen. I really, really like how these Wild Huntsmen were designed. So they only have 1 attack each, but they have they're frenzied, so they get 2 attacks, and they have devastating charge, so if they get the charge, that's 3 attacks each. They have their strength 4, and then they have a light lance. So when they get the charge, they're 3 attacks, strength 5. If you charge them, they're 2 attacks, strength 4. Not super survivable. I think they have some kind of ward save. I'm guessing a 6 up. So real glass cannons. I think it's just a really, really good build for a Wood Elf army, and they are certainly nothing to sneeze at. Starting on the right, I've got a unit of Fast Cav on the right side of the hill, then a unit of Peg Knights. Then, now I have to say I didn't design this list, somebody online did, and I like playing lists that other people design because they do things that I probably wouldn't do, and it kind of prompts me to try things out that I otherwise wouldn't try. Well, what he did at this list is he has 4 small units of Knights Aspirant. So they're kind of like the Knights Errant used to be, but they're cheaper and worse. So these guys, they don't have to take their frenzy test, but their armor's only 3 up, and that's the big thing. So I think they're 17 points a model, so they're cheap Knights. But they're a little bit closer to a medium cavalry than they are a heavy cavalry. Matter of fact, I would classify them as medium cavalry. So pretty good anti-chaff, but in this game, I'm really worried about all those archers on the table just absolutely destroying them. So there's a paladin here who gets plus D3 inches to his charges. I think he'd probably be better put in my main unit, but I decided to put him in this unit for some reason that I don't remember. I've got a level 2 Lore of Light. You can see the trebuchet, and you can see all 4 of the Knights Aspirant units. I think it's 4. Yep, 4. And then he's got the big unit. So there's the Duke. He's in there now. I actually really like this build. I don't think, as far as I know, and I'd have to look more closely at it, I'm not sure that Bretonnian Lords get their heroic killing blow anymore. And if they do, I apologize for not knowing that. Um, this build I think is really, really interesting. So the guy gets the Virtue of Might. So that means that on the charge, he has an extra attack, that's Devastating Charge. He has an extra strength, so that's Thunderous Charge. And for every wound he does before saves, he gets extra attack. So he starts off base 4, gets +1 for Devastating Charge, it's 5. Base 4 strength with the Lance is 6, and then with Thunderous Charge is strength 7. 5 strength 7 attacks with the Crystal Ball, that gives him +1 to hit. So on most things he's hitting on 2s. And then for so hits on 2s, most things he's wounding on 2s, and then for everyone that goes through before saves, he gets to more attacks. This guy, this guy's brutal. I love it. Um, I think with some of the magic items here, it makes for where you can make a unit kind of a Death Star, and I think that's what this one turns out to be. Obviously, there's just a ton of knights in there. The Duke, of course, is in. The Battle Standard Bearer's got a 1-up rerollable armor save, as does the Duke. The Duke gets all that and a 1-up rerollable. That's a lot of stuff. The Battle Standard Bearer also has +1 combat res to the unit, but more importantly, he gives a +1 ward save to the unit. Now, in this new book, you always get the 6-up ward save. If you pray, you get 5-up against Strength 5 or better. I can tell you in this game I wasn't planning on praying because I wanted to just deploy all my stuff, let my opponent go, and then get first turn. Just because it's Bretonnian, I never get to do that with him. But this unit has a 6-up base ward save. BSB gives him a 5-up ward save. And then if you look at the Grail Damsel, she gives the unit MR1, and then Talisman of Roland gives him a +1 ward save against ranged attacks. So if it's magic or ranged, either way, they're going from a 5-up to a 4-up ward save. And had I prayed, and if something hit me strength 5, that'd be a 3-up ward save. That's I mean, that's kind of that's it. I like it. It's kind of powerful in a way, but my concern is it seems like it's kind of pushing you to build towards building a Death Star. Anyway, you can see the second trebuchet there. This thing says she's a level 4 Wilderness. That's a typo. She's a level 4 Lore of Light. She has Book of Arcane Power, which I forgot about all game long, but she should have had +1 to cast. But basically, I've got Burning Bright, which is a D6 Strength 4 magic missile on both of my spellcasters. The Grail Damsel also has the boosted version, which is basically Banishment. I think it's called Divine Banishment, which is 2d6 Strength 4, and she also has the Ring of Fire, which is d6 Strength 4. So I've got 4 magic missiles, and I think that's a good counter to this list. So that's Vanguard. I really had no intention of taking my Pegasus Knights up to his right-hand side. I wanted him to get over here, and I just want to attack the left side of the board and then move my way to the right. If he's spread out over the whole board, that doesn't mean that I have to do the same thing. My fast cav, I just hide behind the hill. Their plan is to be there all game, because if they step out, they're just free points to my opponent. And the one reason why I deployed so weirdly was because those units of Pathfinders are also scouts, and I didn't want them behind my flank. So I go first, and I move everything like you can see. I can tell you that I did a mistake, because it was inadvertent, but it ended up actually kind of helping me. But if you look at my Peg Knights and the unit of Knights Aspirant with the character there in the middle of the table, I like how they're kind of poking out around the building, getting a lot of cover if people want to shoot at me, but I'm also close enough I can threaten some charges. What I didn't consider was his Wild Huntsmen on the hill aren't that far away, and they're movement 9. And if he makes that charge, he's just going to hit the unit and just blow right by him and then overrun behind my lines. I mean, just I can't have it. So, once I saw that on my opponent's turn, I'm like, well, shoot, now I'm just going to have to flee charges. And had I seen it here, I would have directed my magic missiles at the Wild Huntsman unit. But like I said, I was just oblivious to it, wasn't paying attention. We go to the magic phase, and I throw magic missiles. This Pathfinder unit on the hill, I was trying to get easy points. They're within range of my casters, and I did a few wounds, but not enough to kill the level 2 or to even get full points for the unit. Drop a rock over here, it scatters, but I still end up killing, it looks like just 1 Pathfinder. So could have been better, maybe even a Dryad. So we're going to go to Sylvan Elves turn 1. His Wild Huntsman charged my Knight unit with the character. I flee. It changes my plans, but at this point I'm not too worried about it, because these guys can rally and they can still move up later. He charges my fast cab, my Peg Knights. They definitely flee, because I can rally with them and then still march. So not too worried about it. And because they're frenzied, my general's unit, if I want, can charge as Wild Huntsman, and he can't flee or anything. So that's very nice. I actually wasn't thinking about that either. My opponent had to remind me that they were frenzied. So overall, Sylvan Elves table looks like that. Here on the right side, yes, two characters just zoom it up. They're fragile, but my list doesn't have any archers. I even think if I took one of my medium cav units and charged them, I think these guys just kill my knights before I even do anything. And yeah, and by the way, if you look at the hill on the top left, he took his level 2, and he's right at the corner of the hill. He took his last Pathfinder, put him behind the hill. Just going to save points at this stage. So Bretonnia, or not Bretonnia, I prefer Bretonnia 2. This is Kingdom of Equitaine turn 2. Yeah, overall the table looks like that. Significant things that happened. One, I didn't want to charge my big bus into his Wild Huntsman because I didn't think I needed it, and I didn't want to take all those dangerous terrain tests. So I charged my general out of the unit and then just moved them up. It's plenty of movement to do what I want them to do. My Peg Knights rally, and I put them where you can see them. Again, I made the same damn mistake again. I put him up there to where his Tree Father can see them and has an easy charge. So I'm like, really, Chad? Really? Yeah, awesome. So the unit that I fled with had a character. They needed a 9, I believe, to rally, and missed it and ran right off the board. So I was feeling really dumb for that mistake here. This one I'm comfortable with. These guys are strength 4, but I've got a 1-up rerollable. I'm hitting them again. I'm hitting on 2s, strength 7, extra attacks. I'm just going to blow that unit up. So we got the magic phase, and I'm still shooting dice. This is at his level 4 with all those Pathfinders, and I can get all the Pathfinders, but I can't hurt the level 4. She's making ward saves. After combat, yeah, those Pathfinders are toast. I'm a fan of this Lord build, this Duke. I like him. And let's see, we go to, yeah, this looks like Sylvan Elves turn 2. So you can see his Tree Father charged my Peg Knights, and I fled. He could have charged him with his characters and pushed him farther, but then his guys would have been stuck on the right. He decided just to let everything stay as it was and march his characters up right up in my business. Kind of curious how those guys, what they're really going to do. I can see him picking off my medium cav units, but I don't plan on being there. And I can see him picking off my trebuchets, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with that. Yeah, there's my Peg Knights fleeing that Tree Father. The downside is he rolled a 5. I think, actually, that's not a downside. I think my BSB's unit can still see that guy. But then I was looking at the math of it. I think that I charge in there. I think he's stubborn. And so all my combat res doesn't do me any good. So even if I can just go in there and make some ward saves and stuff, I think we're just going to be tied up there all game long. So I'm actually not really looking at charging my big Knight bus into the Tree Father. My opponent thinks I am and doesn't want me to. And so I think he casts the spell where you dangerous terrain on whenever you move, and it's you fail on a 2-up. So obviously he didn't want those guys charging anything. Over here on the left, this is kind of funny. So I was leaving this unit of Knights Aspirant here just to try to hold off that unit of Wild Huntsman. And my opponent, you can see this light bulb go off in his head, and he just marched him right up. He's like, charge me. So I'm like, huh. I plan on charging him because I want to see how it works out. But, 3-up armor is a big difference in 2-up armor. These guys will have 10 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, and my armor save will be a 4-up, and then I'll have a 6-up. And then if I get a couple attacks, I very well, if I charge in, will probably lose that combat. So we go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 3. Overall, it looks like this. I take back everything I said about him casting the dangerous terrain spell on my big unit. I think that was another part of the game. I think he wasn't concerned about it either. He kind of liked me being tied up there for the rest of the game. I didn't want anything to do with it. So overall, the board looks like this. Here on the left, I charge the Knights Aspirant into the Wild Huntsman. Let's see how that goes. I charge my general and this other unit into the Dryads. In hindsight, I think I should have just charged the general in again. I think he can take care of him. And in worst case scenario, it might take him a couple rounds of combat, but I don't think it would really hurt him. And I could have just positioned my Knight bus to be in a better position to start charging all of his other units there on the right-hand side. So after combat, yeah, he killed me to a man before I even swung. That was just awful. So in hindsight, what I should have done is just walk my guys up and angle them to the left so that if he couldn't do anything except charge me, and if he charged me, he would overrun off the board and it would slow him down a little bit. As this was, he killed my guys, get a reform, and now he can charge something else, and these guys are going to just wreck my left flank. After combat, yeah, see this unit on the left, the small Knights Aspirant unit? That was a mistake. I moved him up. The idea was I wanted to move him up and then move him around the hill to flush out his level 2 and his last remaining Pathfinder, just so then I could cast magic or a trebuchet those guys and just get the points. One, I'm not sure it's a sound strategy anyway, just let those points be. And two, by putting them where I did, when combat was over, I couldn't reform or I couldn't pivot my main unit any more than I did. So that unit of archers, for instance, they're just going to march up 10 and get out of my line of sight. Meanwhile, he has his Kestrel Knights back there that can see and can charge the flank of that small unit, and it's not too, I mean, it's a charge. It's, I think they might need a 9 or something, but it's not that far of a charge. And if they make that, then I've just given them that unit. So I think my opponent and I both feel like we're playing pretty sloppy games. And we go to Sylvan Elves turn 3. The Warhawk Riders charge, and they fail the charge. Thank you very much. Like I said, his archer units just march up 10, get out of line of sight of my BSB's unit. That's kind of frustrating. His Tree Father charges my Peg Knights, and I just flee again. I kind of like that guy not doing too much to me. If you look in the lower left, his Wild Huntsman charged the flank of that Knight's Aspirant unit with my level 2. You might have wondered what she was doing down there. They were down there before facing the woods so that if his level 4 couldn't pop out way down here. And I didn't really need him, I didn't think. But yeah, just giving up my left flank to my opponent. There's that flee. Let's see, after he totally destroys that unit, he overruns into a trebuchet. His BSB was in that unit too. I didn't notice him in the picture. He overran, like you can see. He'll be able to charge my other trebuchet next turn. And we go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 4. So my general, he's just charging stuff all on his own. He charges those Kestrel Knights. My main unit, all I can really do is reform. I need to go back a couple pictures. Bear with me. All right, sorry about that. I thought something happened. All right, so there's that. After combat, yeah, he just wrecks face. This guy, this guy, this guy. Yeah, those Kestrel Knights didn't stand a chance. And so then he reforms. If you look at the top left, you can see I'm just trying to flush guys out from behind the hill, and I want to get away from his Forest Prince. That's looks like he's pretty tough in combat. So we go to Sylvan Elves turn 4. He takes his Forest Prince, charges the flank of my main unit. I find that very, very interesting. If nothing else, I think he probably can hold him up. Otherwise, you can see everybody moving around like that. I think my Peg Knights failed to rally and are off the board or something like that. Yeah, so there's this. Really tough decision here. Do I accept a challenge with my Battle Standard Bearer because he has a 1-up rerollable armor save and just hope I make him? But this guy comes in, he's like strength 7. So that's a 4 modifier. 1-up goes to 5. I'd have a 5-up, 5-up, and then 5-up saves. And I don't know if I want to take that chance. So I end up just getting a challenge with my champion, just sacrifice him, and just hope to beat this guy eventually through combat res. When you have all the static combat res, you're just waiting for your opponent just to whiff some rolls or make some saves. After combat, yeah, he killed the champion. He had a charge of flank. He only did, I think, 1 wound to that champion. He kind of fluffed some rolls, and then I made some armor and ward saves. I won combat by some, and he stuck. And I forgot I had the war banner, and I just don't remember if that would have made a difference or not. I decide not to reform. I don't remember why. So we go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 5. My general charges his Tree Father. I'm really curious about this, but I'll get to go first. I've got 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 7. Now this guy's toughness 6, stubborn, But I am strength 7, and then everyone that hits that much, I get that many attacks again, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s. I might be able just to blow this guy up. I'm still a little bit nervous about it. After combat, magic, nothing really happens. After combat, yeah, he does 1 wound by battle standard bearer, and I think it looks like I'm listening. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, 1 wound by battle standard bearer. This is where my opponent had the spell on me that we have to take dangerous terrain and fail on 1 or 2. So look at that unit right there. I've got 12 in the unit, and now I have 8. So I lost 4 guys to dangerous terrain. Um, but anyway, in the combat, he couldn't do much to my BSB, and we just beat him through combat res, ran him down. I figured it was worth losing a few knights just to make sure I got those points, because otherwise he would just rally and it would all be for naught. So I was happy enough with that. And yeah, the Duke goes in there and just blows the Tree Father up, just tears him a new one. There's splitters everywhere all over the board, and I overrun into a unit of archers. Take that, trying to run away from my line of sight. And we get a Sylvan Elves turn 5. Yeah, so this is a very, very scary moment. The Wild Huntsman that wrecked that unit of Knights Aspirant, and then wrecked my other unit, Knights Aspirant, with my level 2 Lore of Light, and then wrecked overran to a Trebuchet, has now come around and is charging the flank of my main unit. This is scary. There's strength 5, so my 2 up will go to a 4 up. I'll have a 5 up ward. I think he wins. He has free reforms, so therefore he doesn't count as a rank. So unless he just really wrecks face, I'll be steadfast and it'll be okay. But I'm not sure even with that I'm going to last very long. So that's kind of scary. So this is my opponent just having fun. So he takes his level 2 that was behind the hill, and I finally just turned my unit around and just I'm just playing around with this unit at this point. So he actually charged in the rear. I'm like, what? What are you doing? And then he moves his level 4 from woods to over here to cast a spell to turn him into to use the level 6 Lore of Wilderness, which kind of gives him like, you don't turn into a monster, you basically get the stats of a monster. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty clever. All right. And during the magic phase, it doesn't go off, and so we we kill him in combat, and then I reform, and that's now it's free points, right? So now we go to anyway. So there's that. Um, After combat here, my general charges the rear. Remember, he overran into the rear of the archer unit. He does 6 wounds to those guys, and I decide not to pursue them just so I can turn around because it's now my turn again. And I figure I can charge here, and he has a lot more points in the upper right-hand corner that I would like to get. Meanwhile, yeah, so these guys charge in my flank, and I think they did 3 wounds. I think I'm only missing 3 knights here. So, that hurt a little bit, but not nearly as much as I thought they would do. And then I'm able to reform, so now I'm facing them. So now the question is, now that they don't have the extra attack and they don't have the extra strength, can they still grind through my armor? Because I'm a lot more durable than they are. They hit hard, but they're kind of glass cannons. So we go to Kingdom of Equitaine, turn whatever, and so my small Knight's Aspirant charges his level 4, free points. I mean, I think it was a fun little trick he did, but if it doesn't work, yeah, I can kill his guy and then reform and charge him. My general charges a unit of archers, and they either flee and I catch them, or I hit them and killed enough they weren't steadfast, and you can see how it ends up in the top right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's that, and that is before combat. That's before combat. After combat, look at this. Look at this. The Wild Huntsmen I think they do 1 wound, and then we do some wounds back. We have combat res, and we beat them and run them down. Both of us, our jaws were on the floor. Didn't think the Wild Huntsman would lose that combat. Meanwhile, his level 4 dies, so that's kind of nice. I'm missing a couple knights. That's from dangerous terrain tests. So we go back to the Elves' turn. He takes his BSB. Look at the middle left. BSB charges the flank of that knight. That knight unit is just getting pummeled, charged left and right. Got charged by the Forest Prince, then by the Wild Huntsman, and now by the Battle Standard Bearer. It makes me a little bit nervous. There's that. So I'm going to get a challenge with my Battle Standard Bearer. thinking with a 1-up rerollable armor save, he has the best chance of shrugging stuff off, and I do, and I'm able to reform, and everything looks like that. The Kingdom of Equitaine's turn, the Duke charges into the Dryads. The only problem with Dryads is they're going to be stubborn in the woods. If I could hit those guys and overrun and hit the archers, that'd be pretty cool. This is turn 6, so if I don't do it this turn, it's not going to matter. But if I do it this turn, I can fight the archers on my opponent's turn and get just a few more points out of them. Yeah, so this is after combat. I think it's just... I don't know if that's before or after. That's before, I think. Yeah, there's that. And then, yeah, he punks my BSB. I was a little bit... I don't know if I should be surprised by that or not. I thought I would survive. Obviously, I didn't. We're stuck in combat. Over here, yeah, the Duke kills a bunch, but these Dryads are stubborn, and they stick. And now we're shooting between my fast cav and the lone unit of archers he has remaining. Remember, he rallied and he can't shoot then, and so I get a free shot. Now we're just kind of shooting back and forth. Go to another round of combat and still can't kill the Dryads. And these guys are sticking around. And the shooting continues over here. I think I got it wrong before. I think this is now turn 6. The Duke still can't kill the last of the Dryads. This is still a pillow fight, and the archer can't kill. He can't kill even one of my, or he can only kill one of my fast cav. And then finally, this guy gets the BSB gets enough of it. And he says that's it. And he kills both knights. He breaks my level 4 from combat and can't run her down. Meanwhile, my Duke finally kills off the last of the Dryads, but he can't overrun at this point. And the game ends like that. Oh my gosh, that was a fun game. I think the only thing that detracted from the fun of it was that both of us felt like, oh, that was a little bit sloppy. But it's my first time playing this army book, my first time playing this list. I'll cut myself some slack. My opponent certainly should, this being his first game in 9th Age. But just a real fun game. I felt both armies played kind of like they're supposed to. I thought my list was really interesting, having all these medium cav units. I'm used to having kind of heavy cav out there. But anyway, overall, just a lot of fun. And in case I forgot to say it, they came out to a draw. I mean, just almost a dead even draw. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.